Hey everybody, Bridgette Raes here, and I am back with another stylish tip for you. Before we get into tips, I thought we would start a little fun tradition called What's Bridgette Knitting? If you're not a knitter, I guess you can just scooch ahead a little bit, but I thought each week I'd show you what I'm knitting. As you all know, I'm a big knitter and I am always doing some really crazy, outrageous projects. This one's gonna take me a while, but I thought I'd take you along on my progress. I haven't had a ton of time to get to my knitting, but this is and I'll link to it and I'll show you a picture of it. This is what is called the Rhapsody in Cables sweater. It's a pattern by Joji Locatelli, so it's Joji, but it's pronounced Joji, so if you're looking up the name. She makes amazing patterns. This is the second one I've made from her. It's going to eventually be a sweater. I know at this point it's probably hard to really see it, but here's it's the left side, and you see a lot of cables. So advice is, if you don't like knitting cables, this is definitely not the project for you. I happen to just have this like crazy love for knitting cables. I'm like a weirdo. The yarn here it's by a company called Malbrigo, and it is their Rios, R-I-O-S, and this color is called Frank Ochre. I don't know what the Frank part means. Funny, it's my husband's name, but it comes in tons of different colors. You need about 4 skeins for a medium, so it's not that bad price-wise. So I will keep you posted on the progress of this and anything else I'm knitting as we go along. But let's get to why you're here. You guys are here for an answer to a style question. So let's get going with that. All right, so we have a question that has come in from Jin Lee. Jin Lee emailed me and said, I am having a really hard time dealing with the feedback I got from my boss about the way I dress at work. My boss handled it in a professional manner, and I could tell struggled with delivering the news. But I am still really embarrassed and uncomfortable, and I'm having a hard time getting over it. I wonder now if everyone has been talking behind my back at work, and the idea of that just mortifies me. Getting this feedback has really disempowered me and made me feel incredibly sensitive. I have 2 questions. First, how do you professionally deal with getting called out about your image at work? And second, what do I do next, as I only got vague instruction on how to fix it, and this really isn't my area of expertise? I saw this question, I had to answer it because my heart really broke for Jin Lee. It really sounds like she's in a tough spot right now. Anyone who gets called out for something or criticized, it's natural to feel the way that Jin Lee is feeling. It's easy to feel vulnerable, to feel exposed, to feel embarrassed, to feel humiliated, to feel mortified, and as a result of that, get defensive or get or to shut down. So I'm not surprised by how Jin Lee is handling it. I think she's handling it in a very normal way. My first bit of advice to you, Jin Lee, is to let yourself feel that. I think we don't like feeling those emotions, and they're very uncomfortable. So I get it if you've been sort of resisting it, or you don't want to deal with how much this has hurt you. And I think we've all been there. I remember when I got my first bad, scathing book review of my book when it came out 10 years ago. And I was down for the count for like a day. And, that was just someone like trolling on Amazon, right? I mean, in this case, this is your workplace, so I can only imagine. The next thing is, and I don't know if this is any consolation, but nobody likes to do this. Your employer doesn't like doing it. Your boss certainly didn't want to do this. No one wants to do this. So if you're feeling uncomfortable, I hate to say just know that everyone else is feeling uncomfortable too, because I don't know how much of a consolation that is. But I think it's important to remember that there isn't one boss out there who relishes doing this. So if you're feeling uncomfortable or embarrassed, I am quite certain that your boss has a tremendous amount of sympathy and probably empathy for you. The next bit of advice is, how about we try reframing it? So, you can look at it one way and say, I just got called out. I'm so mortified. I'm so embarrassed. Everyone's making fun of me. They think I'm horrible. I'm going to get fired. Like all of these emotions, which are completely natural to have. But there's another way of looking at it, which is a company doesn't go out of their way to help someone along if they're not invested in them, right? So if your performance was bad at work, you were probably on the chopping block anyway. A bad image at work would probably have just been like the icing on the cake for them to get rid of you. They would have been like, look, there's nothing working here. Clearly something's working because they're making the effort to help you along. The other thing might be that you're on a promotion track. So it could be that they're ready to promote you along and they want to make sure that your image is up to speed. So we don't know what's really going on. This might be something, instead of looking at it like complete humiliation and degradation, right? Looking at it instead like they really believe in you, right? A lot of times clients come to me when they've gotten promoted or their job has become more visible. Is there a chance that you're going to become more visible at your company, that you're going to be out there more or client interfacing? So it's really just a matter of reframing this, what happened. Looking at it perhaps from another perspective, that this was actually really a good thing, that they really believe in you. So what actions do you take next? What are the next actions that are measurable that you can take? So the first is that you said that this isn't an area of expertise. And I think this is why it hits women so hard when they get called out for their image, because somewhere it was established that women are just supposed to be good at this, right? Like women should just know how to dress themselves and look good. And it's in our DNA, right? Isn't it like encoded somewhere? So when a woman struggles, she automatically assumes like, oh my God, there's something wrong with me. Not being good at this is more normal than you think. I mean, I've been a stylist for 17 years, okay? So trust me when I tell you, you're the norm, not the exception. If you're not good at anything, what do you normally do? You get help. And that help can come in many different forms. You could hire someone like myself. You could work with a friend who you feel is getting it right or is naturally good at this. You could book an appointment with personal shopping or a personal styling service in a store if budget's an issue. These types of services are always free. So what can you do next that will help you along? You don't have to go at this alone. Also looking at blogs, Instagram, Pinterest, there's tons of information out there. So you have to take the time, if this isn't your area of expertise, to actually work at learning it. That's what we do when we don't know something. Next is to not be shy about asking for direction. You said in your email that your boss was a little vague, right? So I don't think there's anything wrong about going to your boss and saying, I've really taken what you said to heart. I'd like to make some changes. I just want to better understand what I could be doing better or what areas I should be focusing on as a priority first. So that shows that you're willing to improve. And also you're asking for specific ways that prioritize, right? So if it's vague, you really don't know what it is that they're calling out. Maybe it's just your hair, maybe it's just your makeup, and then you go and buy a whole new wardrobe, right? So you want to know what are the things you should be chipping away at first, and start there and work your way down to the things that are less important. This way it doesn't overwhelm you, right? So when you just think, oh my God, I need a makeover, that sounds overwhelming. So you want to just be able to take small steps that will put you in the right direction, okay? So Jinli, I hope that helps. I know this isn't an easy time for you, and I look forward to hearing how your progress goes. So remember, guys, if you have a question, feel free to send me an email at bridgetteraes.com. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so whenever I have a new video out, you're the first to know. And follow me on social media. You know it's always at Bridgette Raes. And lastly, check out my new Facebook group. Well, we're not that new. We've been around about a year and a half, but we are a great community, and I will share a link below so you can find out more about that. Till next time, it was great chatting. Talk soon.